Hello YouTube fans, here again, and that's doing an action marathon. It is a side back here and there, so I'm going to jump all the way now into 1984. Now I remember reviewing this a few times. That good film, starring Chuck Norris in, should I say it, Missing in Action. That's right, Missing in Action, the original Missing in Action. And the funny thing was, at the time when this came out, there was a lot of predictable war films to do with Vietnam, to do with the Vietnamese all becoming missing, meaning not the Vietnamese, the American soldiers going missing, because, it was been out that some of them were missing in action. There wasn't been out dead, but there wasn't been out alive. In other words, were the dead, were alive. There wasn't been out dead, there wasn't been out alive, but there wasn't been out missing in action. And that's what the film was about. So it's got a date opening. I always love the music to the opening of this. It goes. I could get it wrong there because I'm thinking of Enforce the USA, but it just goes similar to that type of music. It goes something like that. But it's a good bit of action music, and then you got the fast bat of. Well, to me, it's a date opening. It's a damn good opening. You got Chuck Norris as a soldier in Vietnam with his soldiers, and they're all fighting the Vietnamese. Got the idea it's in that era, and two of these men get tortured and get killed. I think it was like brutal. Chuck Norris just jumps out with bombs, blows himself up in some soldiers. End of movie. No, it's not end of movie. He turns out he's having a nightmare. Right? It was end of movie and he blew himself up. There wouldn't have been a sequel and there wouldn't have been a third, which I will get to. But like I say, he's having a nightmare, and what it is, it's to do with these people who are Vietnamese, who are prisoners, just like these men, and they're having this meter to say, are the men, the American soldiers, still missing in action? There's bits of me where I wonder whether this influenced Sylvester Stallone to die at First Blood Part 2, being Rambo. Because it does have a very similar story. Soldiers missing in action, Rambo gets sent out to prove if they're dead or alive, or they're not missing, all this stuff, take photographs. This, on the other hand, it's a little bit different, because he doesn't, at first, he ain't going to do it. Chuck Norris ain't going to do it, but then he sees something on the TV, he sees a lot of news reports. It's that a funny bit where it's showing Spider-Man, the animated cartoon of Spider-Man. And when he sees the news report, he just snaps up. He totally snaps. He kicks the TV over and he says to say, fuck it, I'll do it. So he goes there. I do admit, I think he's one of the sergeants is a bit of a dick. He's a bit of a knob because he's this woman. That's pretty to look at, this woman. And he says, look at the way he's dressed. I'm thinking, what's wrong with the way Chuck Norris is dressed? All right, he's not wearing a dicky bone looking like Mr. Bond. He's not wearing a suit, but he's tasseled in his chest. He's smartly dressed. He's not dressed up with a ripped pair of jeans and a flipping old t-shirt with mucky stains on. To me, he just looks like a tasseled old guy. And he even walks up to Chuck Norris. He overhears what he says, who am I trying to impress, Senator? So he goes in this die. You get one die in it. I might have mentioned. He always plays a villain, Chinese die. And I've got the idea he's playing the Vietnamese in this. And you might remember him in Big Trouble in Little China, the one that played the main villain. He also played in The Golden Child. He's been in that a lot of films. And in this, saying that, I felt it sort of did him a bit of role in it. But he goes to take his hand and he walks off, Chuck Norris. And they're just trying to make him look like a knob. They've got one die where Chuck Norris has a lot of fast bats in this. It just kind of reminds me of First Blood and all. And he's got the idea this guy's tortured him. In the past, Chuck Norris, he was a prisoner himself, which started playing that a bit more in the second Missing in Action. So he decides to prove him wrong. There's a tape in it where that beautiful girl, he gets hold of that guy, the one who I just said, out of most films, based Soul Pan and Big Trouble in Little China. He tries to get information out of him, he manages to get it, but the guy's a dickhead. He pulls a gun out at Chuck Norris, so Chuck Norris has no option but to throw a knife and stab him and kills him. That's why I felt sort of just him more of a bigger role, making more of the villain. Because if you had it, there weren't really that many villains in this. Just him trying to prove people that they are still missing in action. Don't you when he rips the toes off that beautiful woman? That's quite nice to look at, but Chuck Norris ain't thinking that way. To get himself out of Dodds because he's just killed one of the main arseholes. And that's when he decides to go into Vietnam to prove that these soldiers are missing. He meets one guy on the way. Again, he's been in that a lot of films and all. He was in the original Sitters as a sheriff. He was in Red Dawn. Not Red Dawn, sorry. That's another good film, actually. I might review that one day. Can't think of it now. Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren, which is very similar to Rambo. I might get to that when I get to 88 on the action marathons. Yep. Red Scorpion, he's been down a lot of films. He gets into help out. First, he's a bit of a perv, this guy, you know what I mean? He's got two Vietnamese women in bed and everything. But as he gets on the film, the character just gets to become likeable. But he wears nice white clothes like me. So, like I say, he goes in and he goes to the jungle. This is the bit where I will insult the TV show of Lethal Weapon, because there's one of the episodes in that. I'll just call him the Mel Gibson wannabe, why not? The Mel Gibson wannabe fires a missile, shitty CGI, they can't do anything practical these days, blows up a car, it's supposed to be a laugh out funny scene, where he says, I wasn't supposed to do that. And it's supposed to be for laughs and giggles, right? The guy who's this soldier fires one of them missiles, and let me tell you what it does. It kills someone and it blinds a kid. And it injures another kid. You know, this poor kid's dead or alive. Down to get at Chuck Norris. So that's what a missile does when you fire it by accident. Is it really supposed to be a funny scene in a stupid TV show Lethal Weapon? But anyway, moving on. So he gets that big horrible dad, the one that talks to our mate Chuck. Rams an axe into his ducks, love it. I love the bit where he goes in the jungle and he's dodging all these little man-made traps that the Vietnamese did do. I also love the bit where he buys this boat and he starts down to usher him, and Chuck Norris is ushering him, and he says, "20 Dyers. How much?" And he's pointing the gun at him, and it kind of reminds me a bit of what was in Man with the Golden Gun. Roger Moore, the scene where he's pointing the gun to get information. It kind of reminds me of that. Only difference is Chuck Norris is ushering him to get the money laid off. It's a bit of cool boat. It's made out, it's bulletproof. It's got big dock off guns. He's shooting all the bad guys and the Vietnamese. So he gets to the Americans. It turns out they are alive. They were missing. Heartbreaking. And he gets them out. He gets this big air doctor. He's firing the toss. The arsehole bleeding sergeant's about to usher it all up. Chuck Norris just comes in, and I mean comes in the nick of time. It passes. You've got Chuck Norris's face as Bennett. I forget it. His character name being Bennett. And it ends. And I love the character Bennett. You know what I mean? I love him. You know what I mean? I don't mean the Bennett there. And he says, "So some Stream Bennett." That was his name. I could be lying on. Yeah, his name could have been Bennett. I just love the character. I can see why 1 year after they did Missing in Action 2, the beginning, and why they, a couple of years later they did a third one. So I actually like Missing in Action. To me, I can try to see for Channon, because it was one of the very early Channon films. I can definitely see there was a budget in this, because we all know Channon normally did cheap budget type of films. In this, I can see there was a budget in this. Some people say it's a Rambo rip-off, but there are bits where it does have its own identity. So I kind of like Missing in Action. To me, I think it was a good stepping stone for Chuck Norris for the 80s. That being Missing in Action. Into then, be smart, be safe, and I'll see you later.